Are you facing a $5,000 hearing aid quote? You do not have to pay it. Let me prove it. I checked the Food and Drug Administration rule and the Medicare agency's own coverage pages. The savings are real. Here are the three routes: the over-the-counter rule, the Medicare Advantage hearing benefit, and the Costco warehouse channel. Let's go. This video is for educational purposes only and is not tax, legal, or financial advice. Talk to a qualified professional before making any decision about your specific situation. My name is Eric. Here is what is coming. I am going to walk you through each of the three routes in order, show you the federal rule or the private program that makes each one work, and end with a one-page action plan so you can do this yourself this week. Before I get to the routes, you need the one fact that makes all three matter, and it is the fact almost nobody says out loud in the hearing aid store. Regular Medicare, the Part A and Part B coverage that most retirees carry, does not cover hearing aids at all. It does not cover the exam to fit them either. Medicare's own coverage page, in plain English, says you pay all costs for non-covered services, including hearing aids and exams. Not a percentage, not a copay, all of it, every dollar. So when an independent audiologist quotes you $4,000, $5,000, even $7,000 for a pair, and you assume Medicare will chip in like it does for a doctor visit or a hospital stay, it will not. That quote is your whole bill. Nothing gets subtracted afterward. Nothing gets billed to Medicare later. You write a check for the full amount, or you put it on a credit card, or you walk out empty-handed and go without. Consumer Reports found prescription hearing aids from a clinic can top $7,000 a pair, and even the middle of that market sits well above $4,000. That is the wall every one of you runs into. It is one of the biggest reasons hearing aids are the thing older Americans need most and buy least. The math is brutal, and the assumption that Medicare will help is wrong. Now here is the part that changes the equation. Over the last few years, 3 separate paths have opened up that turn that same pair of hearing aids from a $5,000 decision into a $300 to $1,500 decision. One is a brand new federal rule that took effect in 2022. One is a benefit hidden inside a specific type of Medicare plan that a lot of retirees already have and do not know about. And one is a warehouse retailer that decided to compete on price and got very good at fitting hearing aids in store. Each one is backed by a real rule or a real program you can verify yourself. And each one is available to somebody watching this right now. Let me walk them in order. Route 1 is the Food and Drug Administration over-the-counter rule. And I want to walk this one carefully, because the details are what protect your wallet. For most of American history, a hearing aid was a prescription device. You could not walk into a store and buy one. You had to see a licensed audiologist, sit through a fitting exam, get a prescription written for a specific device, pay for the device, and then pay again for the fitting and adjustments over the following months. The whole process was gatekept, and the gatekeepers charged like it. That changed on October 17, 2022. That is the day the agency's final rule took effect, creating a brand new category of hearing aid you can buy over the counter, with no audiologist exam, no prescription, and no professional fitting required. The rule was published in the Federal Register on August 17th of the same year, and it took effect exactly 60 days later. That 60-day countdown is a load-bearing detail, because a lot of write-ups describe the rule as starting in August. It did not. It was finalized in August. It was enforceable starting the 17th of October. Here is exactly who it covers, and this part is not optional, so listen closely. The over-the-counter category is for adults, meaning 18 and older, who have perceived mild to moderate hearing loss. That is it. 2 conditions: adult and mild to moderate. If your hearing loss is more severe, these over-the-counter devices are not built for you. They will not amplify sound enough to help, and you can spend the money and get nothing back. You still need an audiologist-fit prescription device for severe loss, and no shortcut around that will serve you well. And this category is for adults only, not for children. Say that back to yourself before you buy anything. Mild to moderate, adult, perceived loss. If you are not sure where your loss lands, the first thing you do is not go shopping. It is get tested. And I will tell you exactly how to do that free in the action plan at the end. Now for the money. These devices are sold at retail. You can walk into a pharmacy chain like CVS or Walgreens, into a big box electronics store like Best Buy, order them on Amazon, or go direct to the manufacturer's website. Consumer Reports found that some preset over-the-counter aids cost around $100 a pair, while the self-fitting models, the ones you tune yourself through a phone app until they sound right, generally start around $500 a pair, with the higher-tier options running up toward $1,000 or a little more. There are two flavors here worth understanding. Preset devices come tuned for a common hearing loss profile, and you either fit that profile or you do not. Self-fitting devices are more expensive, but they tune to your specific hearing pattern through an app-driven test on your phone. For most people with mild to moderate loss, the self-fitting versions land closer to what a prescription device would give you, for a fraction of the price. So when you hear the range, hear it honestly. Prices start around $200 for entry-level devices and go up to about $1,000 for the better self-fitting options. That is not $5,000. That is not $4,000. That is not even $1,000 at the entry point. Brands that are cleared and on the market right now include Jabra Enhanced Select, Eargo, Lexi, and the Sony CRE line, along with a growing list of others. If you want to verify a specific brand is cleared, the Food and Drug Administration maintains a public device database you can search. One caution, and this one specifically protects your wallet. Do not confuse an over-the-counter hearing aid with a personal sound amplifier. Those amplifiers are a completely different regulatory category. They are not cleared to treat hearing loss, and they make no hearing loss claims. They are marketed to you as if they solve the same problem, but they do not. If the box says hearing amplifier or sound amplifier instead of over-the-counter hearing aid, put it back. If the price is under $50, it is almost certainly an amplifier, not a hearing aid. This distinction is spelled out on the National Institute on Deafness and Other Communication Disorders page on over-the-counter hearing aids, which states clearly that personal sound amplifiers are not regulated as medical devices for hearing loss. Route 1. On primary sources, from the Food and Drug Administration Final Rule and the NIH's National Institute on Deafness and Other Communication Disorders. Route 2 is the Medicare Advantage hearing benefit, and this is the door most people walk right past because they do not know they have the key in their pocket. Remember what I told you at the top. Regular Medicare, Part A and Part B, does not cover hearing aids. That is the wall. But Medicare Advantage, which is Part C, is a different program entirely. Same word, Medicare, but a different structure underneath. Medicare Advantage plans are private plans run by insurance companies under contract with the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. When you sign up for Medicare Advantage, you are still technically enrolled in Medicare, but a private insurer administers your coverage. In exchange for that arrangement, the insurer can add benefits that regular Medicare does not include: vision, dental, and, critically for us, hearing. Not every Medicare Advantage plan includes a hearing benefit, but a very large share of them do. Medicare's own plan comparison page confirms it in plain English. Medicare Advantage plans, Part C, can offer extra benefits that original Medicare does not cover, and hearing is on that list. Here is how the money usually works when the benefit is there. If your plan has a hearing benefit, it does not typically send you to any audiologist in town. It routes you to a network administrator that the plan contracts with to keep costs down. The three names you will hear over and over are True Hearing, Nations Hearing, and Hear USA. Through one of those networks, you get an exam and a pair of devices at a plan-negotiated price. What you pay out of pocket depends entirely on your specific plan. And here is where I want to be square with you. I cannot give you a single number that applies to every plan, because there is no single number. Some plans cover the whole thing. Some plans cover half. Some plans give you a fixed dollar allowance and you pay the difference. Some plans have a per-aid copay that changes based on the technology tier you pick. So the answer to what does it cost is genuinely and unavoidably, it depends on your specific plan. What you can do, and what most Medicare Advantage members never do, is find out. That means one of two things. You either open your plan's evidence of coverage document, the fat booklet the insurer mails you every fall, and look for the hearing section, or you flip your insurance card over and call the number on the back. That is it. 2 minutes on the phone. One specific question. Does my plan include a hearing aid benefit, and what does it cover? Let me show you what that looks like with a real example. This is a composite based on common Medicare Advantage plan benefit scenarios, not a real person. Picture a retired teacher, call her Dorothy, on a Medicare Advantage plan she has had for 3 years. An independent audiologist quoted her $5,000 for a pair of hearing aids after her exam, and she was about to put it on a credit card in the parking lot before driving home. Before she signed, something told her to flip her insurance card over and call the number on the back. The rep answered in under a minute. It turned out her plan included a hearing benefit through the True Hearing Network. A comparable pair of devices through that network carried a copay of around $500, exam included, with the plan covering the rest. Same devices, same hearing loss. $5,000 became $500 because she made one phone call before she signed. That is the underclaimed door. Many Medicare Advantage members do not know their plan includes a hearing benefit, and they pay the full audiologist price out of pocket for something their plan would have largely covered. Now, one honest note so you go in with your eyes open. These networks limit you to certain in-network providers, and often certain brands within those networks. If you already have a specific brand or model in mind, ask about that on the same call, because the network may not carry it or may charge a higher tier. Second, plan benefits reset each year. What your plan covers in 2026 is not necessarily what it covered in 2024, and it is worth re-verifying every fall during the annual enrollment window. If your current Medicare Advantage plan does not include a hearing benefit and you use hearing aids regularly, that is a factor to weigh at open enrollment when comparing plans. This benefit framework is on the Medicare agency's own materials on Medicare Advantage and on Medicare's plan comparison guidance. If what I am showing you is useful, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That is what tells YouTube to push more plain English retirement walkthroughs like this one to retirees who need them. And if you want the one-page checklist version of this episode, the 3 routes, the questions to ask, and the exact figures all on a single sheet you can print and take with you, the link in the description has the hearing aid savings checklist. Route 3 is the Costco warehouse channel. And this one is for the retiree who wants a prescription-grade device fit by a professional in person, but does not want to pay the independent clinic markup. Costco runs hearing aid centers inside its warehouses. They are staffed by Costco's own licensed hearing aid specialists. They run the fitting exam in-store, and they use Costco's buying power to price prescription-level devices far below what a private clinic charges. It is the same category of device as the audiologist channel, often from the same underlying manufacturers, but sold at retail warehouse margins instead of clinic margins. Now, one honest update, because being current is the whole point of this channel. For years, Costco's headline product was its in-house Kirkland Signature line. And if you read anything about Costco hearing aids more than a year old, that is what you will read about. As the rules currently stand, that Kirkland Signature line has been discontinued and is no longer sold as a current model. Some prior generation inventory may still be serviced at hearing aid centers, but you cannot walk in today and buy a new Kirkland Signature pair. What Costco carries now, as of this year, is a set of name-brand prescription lines, specifically Jabra, Rexton, Philips, and Sennheiser, priced roughly between about $1,000 and $1,700 a pair. Consumer Reports noted Costco's hearing aid models starting around $1,600 and rated Costco as one of the top-scoring hearing aid retailers overall, second only to the Department of Veterans Affairs. That is not a small compliment. Second only to the VA, a system built specifically to fit veterans with high-end prescription hearing aids at government cost, is a very high bar for a warehouse retailer. Compare that to the $4,000 to $7,000 a comparable prescription pair can run through an independent audiologist channel, and you can see why this route matters. The price at Costco includes the fitting, the follow-up adjustments as you dial in the device to your specific hearing profile, and a return window that runs longer than most clinics offer. If you are not happy with the device, you can bring it back. Try that at an independent audiologist's office and see how the conversation goes. Here is what a Costco fitting appointment actually looks like, because a lot of retirees imagine it is going to be a bare-bones warehouse experience and are pleasantly surprised. You book the appointment. You walk into the hearing aid center, which is a partitioned section inside the warehouse, not a folding table next to the pallets. A licensed hearing aid specialist runs a full audiogram, the same test an audiologist would run, and then walks you through the models Costco stocks in your price range with the results in hand. If you buy, they take your ear impressions on the spot if the model requires them. The devices ship to the warehouse, and they call you back to fit them, typically within a couple of weeks. Follow-up appointments to fine-tune the device are included at no extra charge for the life of the product. The return window is generous compared to almost any private clinic, and it exists because Costco knows getting hearing aids right is an iterative process, not a one-shot purchase. That structure alone, professional exam plus included follow-ups, plus a real return window at a warehouse price point, is what put Costco into the second-best retailer slot in the Consumer Reports ratings. Here is the part most retirees miss, and it is the flip on what you would expect. You would assume the cheapest route is always the do-it-yourself over-the-counter box. Not necessarily. If your loss is more than mild, or you simply want a professional to actually fit and tune the device to your ears rather than to a phone app, the Costco channel can land you a prescription-grade, professionally fit pair for around $1,500. That is roughly $1,000 over a good, self-fitting over-the-counter set, but $3,000 to $5,000 under the independent clinic. In other words, the cheapest route depends on your loss profile and how much hand-holding you want. For a lot of retirees, the middle route beats both the extremes. The one string attached is that you need a Costco membership, which starts at around $65 a year. Even counting that membership, the savings against a private clinic still run into the thousands. So unless you are already convinced you would never set foot in a Costco for any other reason, the membership pays for itself on this purchase alone. This is on the Costco Hearing Aid Center pages and the Consumer Reports Hearing Aid Buying Guide. Here is your one-page action plan. 1. Get a hearing test before you buy anything, and you can get one free at a Costco hearing center, at some big box pharmacy clinics, or through a free online screener supported by the National Institute on Deafness and other communication disorders. You need to confirm your loss is actually mild to moderate before you go the over-the-counter route, because if it is severe, you will spend the money and the devices will not help. 2. If you are on a Medicare Advantage plan, Part C, call the number on the back of your card and ask 3 specific questions. Does my plan include a hearing benefit? Who is the network administrator? And what is my copay per aid? Confirm that before you schedule any appointment anywhere. 3. And write this one down. Regular Medicare, Part A and Part B, does not cover hearing aids at all. Only Medicare Advantage plans might. So if you have traditional Medicare only, your 3 routes are over-the-counter at retail, Costco with a membership, or a private pay audiologist. 4. Buy over-the-counter devices only from cleared brands, and you can check the Food and Drug Administration device database to verify a specific brand. Never buy a personal sound amplifier that is being marketed to you as a hearing aid, because that is a different regulatory category with no hearing loss clearance, and it will not treat your loss. 5. Before you sign any independent clinic contract, get one competing quote from either Costco or an over-the-counter brand so you know what comparable technology actually costs in 2026. One quote for reference costs you nothing. Signing without one can cost you thousands. Same person, same mild to moderate hearing loss, same week. Walk into the independent clinic and sign the paperwork. Up to $5,000 and sometimes $7,000. Make one phone call to your Medicare Advantage plan first. Your copay, if your plan carries the benefit, potentially as low as a few $100s. Drive to Costco, about $1,500, fitting and follow-ups included. Buy a cleared over-the-counter pair for mild to moderate loss, somewhere between $300 and $1,000. Same ears, same devices, wildly different bills. And the only thing separating them is whether you knew about the 3 routes before you signed. Next week, I am doing Seniors Stop Paying Overdraft Fees, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau's overdraft rule, and the national banks that charge 0 overdraft fees and 0 monthly maintenance fees. Same structure, same discipline, same plain English walk. So tell me in the comments, have you ever been quoted more than $3,000 for a pair of hearing aids? Just yes or no. That answer alone tells me which route to prioritize when I hit this topic again. I read every single comment, and the most common questions become future videos. I will see you in the next.